What's going on, brother? I'm JK Amazy, founder and head coach at Reboot. Today we're going to be talking about the belief that sex is the most pleasurable thing that you can experience as a man. Now, you might be surprised that I'm even addressing this, but the reason I am is because I believe that this is a myth. Despite the scientific studies and the research out there which proves that it is the most pleasurable thing that a human being can experience. Now, we won't dive into that, but I'm happy to do so at another time. Today, the reason I'm bringing up this belief is because I know for a fact that this belief holds back a lot of men who are dealing with an out-of-control sexual behavior. Now, if you're not addicted to pornography, well, that's fine. You can believe what you want to believe about sex because it isn't a problem for you. But if you're watching this and you've been following my videos, chances are that you struggle a little bit with your sexual behavior. I think the first thing to acknowledge is that this is a little bit of a narrow-minded belief. See, life is short and it is finite, and as far as we know, this is the only life we get. Does it truly make sense to be dependent on one thing as the most pleasurable thing that you can experience? Think about it. If you feel that you could die at any point and there's only one thing which is pleasurable, wouldn't it make sense for you to pursue that thing at every cost? You are going to pursue sex. The reason I bring this up is because this is one of the things that I believed when I was a porn addict. One of my big fears and one of the things that was holding me back from quitting porn, especially when I was a virgin, was the fear that I would never have sex. And I was like, I need to experience life more. And experiencing life for me meant orgasm because it was such a unique, powerful, pleasurable experience. And I was like, you know what? This is living. This makes me feel that my life is worth it because everything else in my life is shit, right? And even when I started having sex, I would still find myself masturbating. And I realized it was because I kept running away from life. And also because I didn't believe that there was anything else that was as pleasurable. It didn't matter whether it was work. It didn't matter whether it was hanging out with friends. It didn't matter whether it was making money. It just nothing. Just everything. I was like, well, none of them are sex. So because I believed that none of them were as pleasurable as sex, all these different things in life that people said were great and people said that I should accomplish, all of them became a means to an end. And that end was having sex. It's the same way a junkie thinks. A person who is addicted to meth or a person who is addicted to heroin. When they experience something that is so high and they feel that, you know what, there's nothing better than this, everything else in their life becomes a means to an end. It becomes a means to the end of experiencing that euphoric experience that they have when they get high. Now here's what I learned, okay? And the first thing I want to say is that you would have to experience a lot of these things to actually believe them. And chances are, the things I'm going to share with you are probably going to sound really lame or tame, or you're just like, JK, this is crazy talk, right? How can you truly feel that you can compare these things to sex? Are you insane? If you feel that way, it's fine, and I absolutely understand. If you're still struggling with your sexual behavior, it would be impossible for you to actually have this belief. I will share it with you though, in the hopes that as you try to end your behavior, you have something to look forward to. You at least look for pleasure in these things. One of the first pleasures that I found that has been, in many cases, a replacement for orgasm is the euphoria of winning, right? When I accomplish something that has eluded me for a long time, or which I did not believe that I could accomplish at some point, especially long-term goals, there's this feeling, and this is, to be quite honest with you, I either lack the vocabulary to explain it, or it's literally a feeling that is just difficult to explain in words by anybody, even the most talented wordsmiths. But it is this euphoric feeling that there is hope, that I am capable of so much more. Like, what else? The possibilities. What are the other things that I could accomplish if I always believed that I couldn't do this, if somebody said I couldn't do this and I still did it? There are some things you accomplish that you realize that you're probably not going to have many opportunities in your life to accomplish things like this. Like, maybe you could count them on your fingers of one hand, right? That it's just going to be such a huge accomplishment that it can last you for years, right? The confidence you get from that, the self-belief lasts for such a long time. And I believe that that is a greater pleasure than the pleasure of orgasm. Because I also see it in many of my clients who stay off pornography and accomplish certain things. And when they realize that they could never have accomplished these things if they didn't quit pornography, and they realize that they're so much happier in the long term than they were compared to that short release, all those short releases they would get when they masturbate, and they realize that it only made sense that this was obviously not only something that was better for them, it was something that felt better. It was a lot more subtle, but it lasted a longer time. The second thing is the joy that you experience from helping another person who is experiencing a very deep level of pain. Helping that person to escape that pain, to leave that pain, to come to terms with that pain, especially when they themselves felt that there was no hope. There's something about doing that as a human being, about being compassionate and helping somebody to accomplish something that brings up this really positive, grateful, joyous feeling in you. And it's not a selfish joy. We could call it a sympathetic joy. It's a joy you experience from seeing the joy of somebody else, especially when you helped that person. And that stays with you, that motivates you, that makes you hopeful for humanity. And it's something that stays with you for, again, another pleasure that stays with you for a long period of time. It's something worth chasing, like the first one I mentioned. And the final one is love. And when I say love, I don't mean infatuation, I don't mean a deep attachment to somebody. I literally mean a deep, caring love for another being, where you only want the best for this person. You're connected to the person deeply, but there's no possessiveness about it. There's no like, this person is mine, right? And don't get me wrong, you can be in a relationship and have both of those feelings, but those moments, for those of you who are in a relationship where you look at your partner or you're sharing an intimate moment with your partner and you go like, man, I really wish the best for this person. I want this person to be happy. I want them to be content. I truly, truly wish that. I wish that this person's human experience will just be the best things ever. You may only get those moments these days in very small bursts, but to experience it over a long period of time is truly pleasurable, right? Now, if I were to watch a video like this, especially of me saying stuff like this 10 years ago, I'll be like, dude, you're either trolling or you're on something, because this sounds like crazy talk. So JK years ago would think that. But now I say it, and it is what it is the experiences that men have. And I'm only saying that because I know a lot of brothers will watch this and perhaps understand it logically, but feeling it is something that's so far from you. And that's the thing when you've struggled with a compulsive behavior for so long. It's that you hear these things, but you just don't know if you're ever going to really experience these things, right? So, biologically speaking, it's important to understand that what has really happened with your brain is that the part of your brain that is responsible for processing these pleasures that I just talked about is not the part of your brain that is in control of your sexual behavior. It should be. That part of your brain is called the neocortex. It's the new part of your brain. Instead, the part of your brain that is in control of that is the oldest part of your brain. It's at the stem, the brain stem, and it's called the midbrain or the reptilian brain, your original brain. So your neocortex evolved from there. But this original brain was only concerned with one thing, and that is your survival. So eating, having sex, procreating, running away, fighting, defending yourself, that sort of thing. And when you use pornography or sex or masturbation or orgasm to medicate all the different pains in your life, the message you are sending your midbrain is, send me those neurochemicals that are going to help me to survive. I'm stressed. Send me those stress hormones that are going to make me feel better. Like, what do I do to feel better? And the midbrain, because it's the oldest part of your brain, it's like, okay, bro, like you need to survive, right? You're feeling emotional, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling stressed out, you're feeling angry. Let me give you chemicals that are going to make you feel good. And one of the easiest ways to get these is to masturbate and to experience orgasm. And so you're highly dependent on the midbrain as an addict. However, the newer part of your brain, the neocortex, is responsible for things like your motor functions, for consciousness, awareness of the fact that you are a human being, for your intellect, for prioritizing, for arranging your memories as well. And when you reboot, when you go through the porn reboot system or you recover and your brain rewires, what is actually happening is now the messages are not being sent to your midbrain alone. They are being sent to your neocortex. And all the coping strategies, the coping tools, everything we teach is designed to help you regain control of your neocortex, so that when you experience other difficult things in life, you can draw from this newer, more evolved, and constantly evolving part of your brain and make better decisions. But a byproduct of regaining control of your neocortex is that you're now able to experience higher level pleasures than what the midbrain simply provides you, the most basic animalistic thing. And as you can imagine, it is not easy to let go of the midbrain and start focusing on the neocortex, because the midbrain is a very important part of who we are as human beings. We cannot deny it, but we need to control it. So I hope that makes sense. That's the message I wanted to share with you today, challenging the belief that orgasm and sex is the most pleasurable thing that we can experience. It is very pleasurable, and personally for me, it's up there as well. But I also realize that if I prioritize it, then there's truly not much that I'm going to accomplish in my life. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Whenever you're ready, there are a few ways that I can help you end your out of control behavior with porn, sex, or masturbation. The first way is to download a free copy of my book. It's called Confessions of a Porn Addict: 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men, and it's the roadmap to ending your out of control behavior. The second way is to join my free Facebook group. There's a link to it and the free book in the description below this video. And the free Facebook group is a great place for you to find an accountability partner, to be in a community of men who are serious about rewiring their brain. And finally, if you feel that you are at a point in your life where you've made some progress, but you're really tired of not seeing lasting change. You're like, yeah, I've improved my behavior a little bit, but this behavior still has a hold of me and I would like to end it permanently, then you might be a good fit for our group coaching program. And the purpose of our group coaching program is very simple. We help you control your behavior within 90 days. That is the promise that we give you if you follow the system. Now, to find out if you're a good fit for our group coaching program, you can go ahead and schedule a call with one of my team members. They'll ask you a few questions to learn about your behavior, and if you're a good fit, they'll tell you the next steps to joining our program. We actually have 2 group coaching programs. One is called the Implementation Program, which teaches you and gives you all the tools that you need to implement it. And the second is called the Intensive Program, where you work with me personally every week to end your out of control behavior. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you later on in the week.